got me already. How'd it get under my foot? I'm gonna spread my feet out. All right, welcome back. Yeah, the Rode 2 wireless microphone. Kaput. The new one I bought. It's all in the last video. You probably went like that after it went, got all staticky and stuff. So I thought it was the cable. I thought it was this. Thought it was that. I worked on it for about an hour this morning. This is Saturday, and yes, my voice is a little hoarse. Anyway, to no avail. So I'm returning it. So that'll get taken up to the UPS office a little later today, and I'm just going to exchange it for another one, and let's see how well we do. But for now, we're going to have to suffer through it with me talking or screaming into that thing right over there on the GoPro, which you're not long for this world either, buddy. I'm talking to the camera, not you guys. Anyway, so we got a ball joint press from the O'Reilly. Hey, look at that, they colored it green. I just now noticed that. That's pretty nice. And I guess they got that custom made from Evertough just for them, that green color. Pretty cool. Brand spanking new, by the way. Now I may just keep it and just pay them the money. I don't know. But we need to get the ball joints out of the lower control arms. So that's my goal right now. I got 2 of these to do. After that, we're going to get busy finishing up the engine cradle. But I kind of wanted to do this first, because it's just nasty and horrible, and well, I think you'd agree. So I guess I could use some gloves, huh? Thought I had some laying around here somewhere. But normally I do stuff like this over there on the other bench where the bigger vise is, but there's all the Mercedes parts over there and they're in the way, so that's kind of the reason I'm over here doing this. So that's really the only reason. Yeah, they sit in here. Let's see, how does this work? Yep. That one works. I don't know what I'm doing. Every time I do this, I go, how do you do it again? Anyway, well, let me cobble this together. I'll be right back. All right, so I got this piece of, I guess this is 1.5 inch steel pipe from Lowe's. I got some over there. I cut a piece off earlier for another project. Anyway, I think this will do. These ball joints on the Mercedes are an oddball size. At least, around here they're oddball. So that should fit the inner side of the ball joint nicely to depress it, and then we'll take this guy here. That will not work. So I guess this will have to, that will have to go there, and then the green part goes on top of there, and we tighten from the other side with a receiver cup. So yeah, that'll be the, oh yeah, we got it figured out now. Okay. What he really needs to do is go get a proper Mercedes to, well, I know that, but I'm not gonna pay for it, so there. It's not happening. It would be a lot easier though. It fits over that part. Yep, got it. I need this here, like this. This won't be a faff at all, as they say. This will be just ridiculous. So we'll put this here like that. Put that there like that. Yeah, it'll have to be like that. There we go. We'll use the intake manifold and the head to serve as a holder. How about that? Yeah, there we go. That'll work. Come on, you can do it. There we go. So now we need to center our pipe. Got to hold your proverbial mouth just right. .22 impact socket. How about that? 22 impact socket, he says. Never use an impact wrench on presses and things like that. Why, you say? Well, because it takes all the fun out of it, and we can't have that. So, did we move it at all? I don't like doing, going full bore straight out of the gate. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure, you know, things are not going to fly apart on me. So it might have moved a smidgen. I like to apply some force and then back off and just see, you know, get the lay of the land, as they say, because sometimes things happen. All right, we finally got it moved a little bit. I tried it once again. I saw a little puff of rust smoke going poof like that. And then I checked it. I pulled it apart and checked it. It's starting to move, so I think we're home free now. So. That's weird. Why is it doing that? Clearly, I'm confused about which part is which. I was thinking, see, I didn't know, there's so much rust and grease and crap in there, and I didn't know where the hole was and which part was hole and which part was ball joint, because it's coming out. I wonder at this point we could just do that to get it the rest of the way out. Okay, so now I know. See, I was thinking that there was a lip here inside there, right? That came up above, but it's not. It's just flat metal there. So I know that now. And what that really means is I should have looked at a picture in the book before I did this. Now that's interesting. What is that? Is that a ring? Is there a ring in there? You see that? Looks like a ring inside there. What's going on with that? You guys tell me. Comment down below. I've never done a lower ball joint on one of these cars. I'm gonna go do some research on that and figure out why is that ring there? It looks like it comes out. So, all right, let me go do some reading. So that one has a little metal ring inside it as well. I guess that's normal. Gonna leave it there. Both of these are done, and I guess I'll put them over here, and we'll get ready and clean them up a little bit later on. We'll prep them a little bit before we take them to the soda blaster. Alright, this is the driver's side inner wheel bearing actually. So never would come off. It's heat bonded to the spindle, so we're gonna have to cut it off. So we'll get rid of this cage first. Maybe we can get lucky here. I don't know. Let's see. If I had a puller, I could grab that lip, and this is just going to be like an hour worth of cutting. So I'll be back. All right. So, you know, I suppose you could put it in the freezer and try to expand it, or you could just haul off and start cutting on it, and you can weaken it, and then you get your chisel behind the bearing brace like that. It's still stuck on there really good, but it's moving now, so I should be able to go like that, kind of like, and maybe, yeah, I got more room to catch it at a better angle over here. So yeah, definitely not supposed to be this difficult. Not sure what was going on there. I guess it got really hot. It's supposed to be a nice slip fit, but whatever. What kind of bearing is this? Made in France. This is a Timken. I'm guessing this car had front end work. I think in the late 90s somebody went in here and replaced the ball joints and the bushings and what all. May or may not have done a very good job. I think they did an okay job. I think those, you know, one of my viewers, Peter, he said he looked like it looked like those upper ball joint bushings were probably aftermarket replaced. I think he's right too. They were a bit too shiny in the middle. So they were probably off-brand stuff. So the spindle looks okay, thankfully. I just need to get this heat shield over here off and get this stuff ready to take up to the soda blaster. But I think before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and get the subframe outside, get some super clean on it. Yeah, we might do that before the video is up. It's time to get this R107 subframe cleaned up. And I want to take it up to Birmingham soda blasting, but before we do that, I want to degrease it because it will lessen the amount of time that they have to work on it, and well, possibly that might lessen my cost. So, how are we going to do that? Excellent Company has reached out to me time and time again to highlight their products in my videos, and well, turnaround is fair play because they have provided me free product in the past. They've provided this product today. So super clean, you got the foamy cleaner and you got the spray cleaner. Both are fantastic products. The foamy stuff sticks to engines really well, and the all-purpose spray-on cleaner can be used for nearly everything else. It's a fantastic product. It cleans well, it works quickly, and it's cost effective. What's not to like about that? So what we're going to do is degrease this old subframe on this old Mercedes. So now we have some flaky stuff here, not really grease stuff. But we're going to go ahead and spritz that off with a little bit of water first before we apply the product. But we do have a nice thick coating of grease here, so that's what we want to take care of today. So, all right, so let's go ahead and get some of this dust off of here. It's just dust and flaky rust and things like that. We'll just come right off with a spritz of water. But what we're after right now is all this grease and grime. So let's take care of that. Now this got a strong base in it, and it's an excellent degreaser. So if you're spraying it like this, do it in an outdoor open area because it's pretty pungent, and that just means it works. Get up in the shock towers, making myself dizzy walking around in a circle, but that's my fault, not Super Clean's. All right, we're gonna let that sit for a little bit, then we're gonna scrub it and just lightly with a little brushy brush, and then we'll rinse it off. All right, it's been sitting on there for about 5 minutes now. I'm just gonna put an extra little spritz on there. The instructions say that you're not supposed to let the product dry on the surface of whatever you're cleaning, so we don't want that to happen. So straight away, this right here is the most heavily greased up area. All right, and it's just coming right off. And the reason I'm doing it like this, I mean, yes, I have a pressure washer, right? But not everybody has a big old powerful pressure washer. If you don't want to go through all that, you can use this product. It's inexpensive. Spray it on your greasy motor or anything else that's greasy. Scrub it a little bit. Look at that. They don't call it a degreaser for nothing, folks. Clearly it's not going to remove the rust, just the grease. That's what we're after. Because if they're down there at the soda blaster and they don't have to, you know, you got to eat through the grease first before you can de-rust and get all the paint off. So this will be a lot faster for them. Got a nice coating of grease back here on the top of the shock towers. This is where the spring and the shock absorber go up in there. I'm gonna wet that a little more with the spray-on stuff. Just eating right through that grease. Now, it depends on what you're doing, right? As to how picky you're gonna be. for this, we're restoring this car, right? So I want this thing to be, well, I want it to be nice. If you're just gonna degrease your engine in your everyday driver, just spray the super clean on the motor, let it sit for 10 minutes, hose it off, and go on about your business. It'll do a great job. I think the front crankshaft seal on this engine had been leaking for quite some time, because clearly there's grease, well, basically it's engine oil coated with dirt sitting here on the bottom of the front subframe. That's typically a sign that your front crankshaft seal has bit the dust. So you can see all the grease just kind of rolling off down the tarp there. I think I got the camera wet. Sorry, guys. This area right in here was just coated with about 1/8 of an inch of grease and dirt. And now it's just metal. So great product, highly recommend it. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and flip this over, do the other side, and then we're gonna put it in the back of the truck. Take it downtown to the soda blaster. All right, coming up on Birmingham soda blasting. I believe this is the place. Yep, here we are. Pretty casual joint. Okay, so here I'm at Birmingham, or is it Alabama soda blasting? With my friend Teddy, and we've got all of our parts from the R107 right here, all palletized up. We've got a guy with a nice little loader here, and they're gonna get them all situated for us. I've done this, I've been up here 2 or 3 times already, and they always do a fantastic job. So Teddy, I appreciate it, my friend.
No problem, we'll get you sorted out.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Yes, sir.
All right, there's a little stack right over there. They do a lot of classic car stuff here as well, but they do a lot of industrial stuff, and I believe they come on site to do major projects also. So the little bit of work that I gave them is going to be child's play. Let's see if this piece of junk can get these off. Nope. Nope, it's just a weakling, this thing is. Ow! This one's not a weakling, but I think we will give it a little bit of little clutch action. Yeah, that broke my rib. I guess I'll have to break out the big mamma jamma. All right, let's put it on the full power. Come on. The power of rust. I tell you what, you want to hold something together, put some rust on it. I don't know why they just don't make cars out of rust. All right, let me put this over here on the parts bench. Well, I reckon I ought to take a break in the action here and return the loaner ball joint press. How about that? I rented it from the big store, which is far from my house. I wonder if they would mind if I returned it to the little store that is closer to my house. I should probably do the courteous thing and return it whence it came. Good unit. If I had the spare change on me, I'd just keep this and just buy it from them. All right, first step is we got to get this thing on the engine hoist. Let's turn her around here. I need, yep, I'm going to use these. I've already put 2 bolts back here, and I got 2 up there, so we're going to use those. At some point, I'm going to have to get a hydraulic ram for this thing that has, air power. You just press a button, but for right now, we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, I think that'll do. Let's go ahead and take a measurement here. I'm thinking maybe 2 bolts for this. I'm gonna have an extension that goes from here and weld up to there. So I'm thinking 2 bolts, 2 holes, one there and about one there. And we bolt the extension onto here. And then the extension will be kind of bent at an angle and welded to this plate here. That's what I got going on in my head. So that might change. Never done this before, so you know, how hard could it be? So how much of this do we want on here to bolt on? Let's take a look at that. How about 4 inches? We could put a hole at the 1 inch mark and the 3 inch mark and have a 4 inch long thing there. That'd be good. So 4 inches there. And then with the distance between there and there, well, it's 4 inches. How about that? It's almost like I planned it. And I didn't actually. But let's call it 5 because I want the metal to go up to here, come down here, stop about right there, and then come down to there, right? So having said all that, let's change our idea here. Let's measure from here to here. Or no, wait a minute. That'll put the center of gravity here on the inside edge. It might be better if it was up here on the middle part. So let's go with that plan again. So we could put it there and then run it all along here and weld it, or we could put it in the middle and just weld it up to about right there. I'm going to go for the middle. We'll do 5 here and 4 there, so that's 9 total. And we can always put some bracing on it too. So let's go with that. So it'd be 4 and 5. That'd be 9 inches of angle iron. Let's go ahead and cut that next. All right, 9 inches. I think we'll just do the death wheel here. I don't really feel like breaking out the torch for this. Don't forget your earmuffs, folks. And your safety goggles. Got to work fast. The battery on that GoPro is junk. Hey, look at that. No electricity. All right, so a note about using this. If you're not used to using this, do not do it like this. You put your cover on here, okay? No, I should not be doing it like this. I should take the time and put the cover on, but I'm being extremely careful, and I'm not going to make excuses. Just don't do what I do, okay? Another thing is, when you're cutting something like this, what you want to do is you start off by you want to score a line. So if you score a line, you can do it rapidly, and now you have a nice straight channel to follow, okay? If you try to just cut it slowly at first, you're just going to get all over the place. But if you score a line, you can stay in that little ditch you made for yourself. Like that. Next up, we're going to go ahead and put a little angle cut here, and so we can bend this, and we'll bend it right here. And then once we get it right, we'll re-weld that, and it'll have a nice little bend in it. So that's kind of what's been going on in my head for the past week. I've been sitting there. I went out of town for work. This was partly on my mind while I was working. So yeah. All right, let's do some more cutting. And if we screw this thing up, you know, there's more angle iron where that came from. So it'll be all right. About an inch. Let's just, yeah, there we go, about right there. There's our bendy line. Now, I don't know what that angle is. Let me see if I can't eyeball that and figure out what it is. It's not quite the same angle as the cylinders, so we're just going to guess. All right, the camera overheated, so I had to go cool it down. But I made a cut here and made an angle, so we're going to bend it now and see how well we did. I think maybe some heat might be good. Hopefully I won't have to break out the oxyacetylene, so I think I'm just going to go for the MAP gas. All right, we'll let that cool down, and then we'll try it out over there on the engine stand and see what happens. All right, I put a couple more cuts in it and I've heated it a couple times. I think this is the last go around here. That's kind of what that looks like. Let's see how well we did here. It don't have to be perfect. I'm gonna call that good. I'm gonna compare it on the other side real quick. All right, just for sanity's sake. That's freaking awesome. The motor mounts are not the same distance from the back of the block on either side of the engine. I didn't think about that. We have to change our setup. Looking at the back of the engine, I'm measuring from this bolt to the back of the engine. I got 10 3/8, and over here I got 10 7/8 basically. So about a ½ inch off. Well, I'm about to figure out what to do next. Let me see how I can get us out of this dilemma. So even if there is a little bit of a distance, you know, it's a little different. Okay, fine, whatever. There's a lot of play in everything here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just make a carbon copy of this. And then we'll take the plates off and weld them up. And then we'll just kind of massage it and trial and error from there. You know, it's just making it up, folks. That's the way it is when you fabricate something. So yeah. All right, I'm gonna make another one of these. I'll be right back. All right, let's go ahead and get this plate off here and then do some welding, I think. Now I lost my orientation. Yeah, that was the back, that's the front. That's fine. It'll be fine. Relax. All right, let me go get the welder ready. I'll be right back. Start off with a couple of tacks. A little more than a tack actually, but you know, whatever. Let's change the orientation of our work here. Yeah, that'll work. You suck at welding, Harris. I just don't do it often enough. I think my wire speed is a little too aggressive there. Let's try the other helmet. This Harbor Freight Vulcan helmet is not doing the job anymore. I got it set on full shade. The battery's good. Sensitivity, it was good for a while, but it's just wearing out. And it just doesn't shade enough. Not enough for me anyway. I think I'm just gonna go buy a real one, a good one, like maybe a Miller or something. Pretty hot in here. I've been having problems with the camera shutting off. So anyway, I got some 10 by 1.5 bolts here. That's what we're going to use to attach this to the cart over there. So I got a couple holes marked out based on my test fit. Going to use the stepper bit, see how well we do here. One step bigger, I think. That'll be just fine. We got a lot more work to do. All right, we got some holes drilled there in the brace that we made, and worked out pretty well. Had to break out the 1/2 inch drill to get through this stuff here. So I pulled this out and turned it up on end to do that drilling, and it was, anyway, just a couple of holes drilled. So Got our bolts through there. Don't have it tightened down just yet, but we're just doing a test fit, see how well things are going to work. I may move these wheels to this hole, but we've been working on this about 4 hours. So at this rate, I'll be done next Friday. It's not going to be perfect, but we're trying to take a cheap piece of Chinese junk, cobble together something with stone knives and bear skins to make it work with a fine piece of German engineering. So, yep. Anyway, that's what we got. All right, there we are. I got the two front ones done, except for I need to trim a little bit of this weld right here so I can get these bolts all the way in. There's only a couple of them like that. I think these two, and there's a couple on the other side. Those are fine. But I got these snug down here. I don't have that tightened. Front is pretty much 99% done. Looking pretty good, I think. There's so much play in all of this stuff down here that the difference in distance between here and there, if it even exists, is not going to be a factor. So, and it's coming up on quitting time, for me anyway. And you can move these side to side clearly. We're going to do the same trick here on the back side, and I'll need to figure out a way to do the same thing. Attach the angle iron here, and I'm thinking we come up here, and the angle iron will come up here, bolt here, put a cut, we'll do a bend, and bolt here, so it'll come up like this, and Y out. I think that might be nice. Yeah, that's kind of what's going on in my head. That, and I'm worn out. Those two front mounts took me a while. I've been working on them for several hours. So, I think might be Miller time. Maybe. I didn't think it would take that long, to be honest with you. Do I really want to start that? No, I don't. I want to do it tomorrow. How about that? Okay, tomorrow's another day. Oh, and this? Yeah, that's permanent, actually. Probably gonna have to get it fixed. Yeah, this is what happens when you get old. Got some arthritis in the left thumb there, and apparently the only fix is a little bit of cleanup surgery. So, yeah, that may be happening pretty soon. I'm not sure. But anyway, for right now, wear the brace, wear some of that K tape, you know, and put some cream on it, stuff like that. So, but in the next few months, I don't know. You never can tell what's going to happen. So, not a huge deal though. Just part of getting old. So, yeah. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Another day, and we're back at it. So, I think what I'm going to do is start off and cut a piece of angle iron that will bolt here and here. Let's do that first. So, what's the distance on our holes there? That is about 6 3/8. Let's see, a piece of angle would need to go from about right there. Have to stop at that corner right there and go up to, I don't know, about right there, maybe. So if we measure from those two, I think an 8-inch piece would be fine. All right, 8-inch piece. I'm gonna cut that real quick. I'll be right back. All right, new Rode 2 wireless microphone came in, and they're both units are charging up there. So whether or not they ever make it into this video, we'll find out. Maybe at the end. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I got this. I changed my tune on this thing, and I decided to cut a 14-inch piece. Put a notch in it right there, and put a bend in it, and you know, something like this, right? So that's, you know, that's kind of that's what I got going on in my head right there. So I got to figure out how to determine where to put the holes here. One there and one there for the bolts. So I'm gonna do that next. All right, we got the Rode 2 wireless microphone in the mail, so we're back in business, I think. So got this stuff in place finally. Got everything bolted down. I don't have these 2 bolts in here because I need to take some metal off of that weld there. And I still need to do some welding here. So I got these 2 brackets here connected up, everything tightened down. I still dangling from the engine hoist. I didn't want to put the weight of the motor on it completely until I got these little things over here welded up. Overkill? Yeah, probably. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to grind down some welds over here to get those bolt holes cleaned up a little bit. Put some welds over here. Then we'll button this thing up finally and put the weight of the engine completely on the new custom-made roll-around engine cradle for our M117. All right, I'm working on the last piece here. I've welded up the other one. I'm going to weld this last one up here. This do a little reinforcement work here, and then we'll paint it, put it on the stand, and we'll be done with the engine cradle. When you're welding in shorts and Crocs, the most important thing is to make sure you put your welding gloves on. Woo, got me already. How'd it get under my foot? I'm gonna spread my feet out. Why doesn't he just go put some shoes on? Well, because I'm stubborn. All right, we're gonna cool that down and hit it with a flap disc, and I'll put some paint on it. All right, wish me luck. I got all these brackets welded up, and I got a coat of paint on them. And don't look too bad. Looks pretty, well, looks pretty amateurish, to be sure. But I don't really care. I just want it to hold the engine. Overkill, do you say? Maybe, but it should hold. So let's, my only concern is the thing teeter-tottering over to the front side once we put all the weight on it. So I don't know how much that weighs. Maybe 300 pounds? I have no idea. All right. All the weight is on the stand. Let's see how stable we are. Yep, that's what I thought. It's front heavy. I kind of figured that looking at it. It's front heavy, like really easily front heavy. I mean, that's all I'm doing is just giving it that. So yeah, and it has to do with the location of that mount on the block itself. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. I suppose if I change the location of these guys on the carriage, just move everything down this way one time. That might change the center of gravity enough because you got this little bit of stuff here, right? All right, let's try this. Let's go for something simple. That's a 4x4. So, how much room do we have there? Another set of caster wheels would be nice. All right, gnarly, you say? To be sure. Sturdy? You bet. Ran out of welding gas, so we got one more gusset to do. Got to do what you got to do, don't you know? And if you're going to haul a welding gas bottle in the back of your pickup truck, you know, this is probably not the best setup, but we got 3 points here. One back there holding the bottom, and then we got one there and one there, ratcheting straps, and yep, she's in there pretty good. So normally when I do this, I put it back there in that corner, but today I just didn't feel like it. So there, how about that?
All right, we're going to the local air gas place. Or no, wait a minute. Where did I get this last time? Gas and supply. There you go. All right, let's go get some more welding gas. All right, gas and supply. How about that? Now we're going to get us a new bottle of gas and probably need to get another spool of wire. I think some number 35 sized wire would be good for our needs, and who knows what other toys we might find. All right, so I did learn something at the gas supply place. Now I had my MIG gas standing upright because I thought that was the way you're supposed to do it. I thought it was some kind of regulation. But since it's just argon and carbon dioxide, it's not flammable, so it really doesn't matter. You can lay those bottles down, according to the guy that works there. He said what you really wanted to do was stand up your bottles of fuel gas, like acetylene. Apparently, they put acetone in the acetylene inside in the gas bottle apparently it stabilizes it somehow. So if you take your acetylene bottle and you lay it down in the bed of your pickup truck, that acetylene would have a tendency to get into the valve work in the upper end of the cylinder, and when you go to weld with it later on, that acetone could possibly work its way into the valve work in your gauges and in your thing that you use to weld. Anyway, it'd be bad. So that's why they don't want you laying your fuel gas down when you transport it. Whenever you transport fuel gas for your welding, you want to stand it up in your pickup truck and tie it down properly. So there you go. Learned something today. All right, we're all done. Got the last gusset welded in there. Got the new bottle of 7525 and the old MIG welder there. So next up, before I bother painting this thing, let's go ahead and get the engine on here and get it down on, well, all 6 wheels now, and see how well we did. Got her all bolted up. Got everything tightened down. It's not perfect, but it's just, you know, it is what it is. Let's see what we get. I'm going to lower this thing down gently. All right, ease up. Got all, there we go. All the pressure's off of the, everything's on the engine cradle now. We are nice and sturdy. I added these 2 extra casters on the front. That's 1/4-inch plate, the 1/4-inch gussets welded on to that 3/16 angle iron. Went down to Harbor Freight and picked up these 3-inch caster wheels, and they have a built-in brake on them, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, that's good right there. I like that. Awesome. So that means we can dispense with this and fold up our engine hoist and get it out of our way. I'm not going to get this thing to the engine shop today, but when I do, I'm all ready for it. I'm going to put all this stuff away and fold up this engine hoist, and let's get this out of our way for right now. All that welding and grinding and everything I've been doing, I got I got debris in the top of the cylinders, but it'll be okay. It'll be okay. Nothing a little brake clean won't take care of. They're gonna put it in a big vat and clean the whole motor anyway, so it doesn't really matter. After they disassemble it, of course. All right, we got the front suspension and subframe down at Alabama Soda Blasting, and that's in good hands. So I was told it'd take 7 to 10 days to get that all done. because, well, the economy seems to be booming and their business is as well. So it'll take a little bit of time for them to complete the job, but it'll be nice and clean. When they're done, we'll bring it home, we'll prime it, and we'll paint it, and we'll put it in the corner until all the rest of the parts come together and we can reassemble the front end. In the meantime, I've decided to wait until I get the suspension components back from the soda blaster, and then I will take the engine downtown. So I would expect to take this downtown to the machine shop probably in 10 to 15 days, something like that. Not too awful long, but I just don't want to get too spread out. I don't want to have a whole bunch of parts over here and a whole bunch of parts over there. I don't want that. I want to take kind of one thing at a time. So that's what I'm doing. This weekend really put me through the paces with this silly little roll around engine cradle. I thought this would take a few hours. It basically took me 2.5 days. So yeah, what a monumental fiasco that was. But in the end, we have a nice little roll around engine cradle for an M117 V8, and it works very well, and even has brakes on the front wheels. How about that? Anyway, I'm going to call it for this video, folks. I appreciate you guys stopping by the channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to be notified whenever I release a new video, don't forget to click that little bell down below. It's free. It's not going to hurt anything. Just click the bell. Click it. All right, folks. You guys have a good one. And remember to enjoy restoring your classic Mercedes.